Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I am the CHALL, and today Chall Chats Doncaster Rovers. As of course, we lost 2-1 on the previous weekend, just gone against Wrexham at the racecourse ground. It's been a couple of days. It's been at least 48 hours since the game. I want to take this time now to just analyse exactly what happened. Now, before we get started, make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell to this YouTube video. We have got plenty more content coming from the theme park side and the sports side over the next few months, including a massive trip at the end of September on the theme park side. So stay tuned for an announcement from that one in the next week or so. And for now, we're going to get straight into this. We're going to start off with the lineups for both teams. So starting off with Doncaster Rovers. Obviously, some interesting selection updates from that one. Obviously, Richard Wood wasn't on the bench. He was injured, but hopefully will be back for Forest Green. It was just a bit of calf strain, we believe it to be. And of course, no Deji Satona on the bench either. So interesting there. Nothing on the injury front from him. So my opinion was that maybe it wasn't Satona's type of game. Maybe it was more of a different game to the type of player that Satona is. Obviously, Doncaster Rovers also had no Adam Long on the bench. He is a long-term injury with a dislocated shoulder. So hopefully he's back sooner rather than later. So they went with Lawler in goal. They went with Addison and Olowu as a centre-back pairing with Senior and Bailey as your full-backs. Broadbent, Biggins and Westbrook as your midfield, with an attack of Ironside, Fowl and Molyneux as a 4-3-3. Now then, for Wrexham, the home side, they started off with Howard in goal, the same back three as the win over Tranmere, Hayden, Tozer and Boyle. Barnett, Captain Young, O'Connor, Lee, Palmer and Darby all keep their positions in that squad, with McAlinden being the only change to the starting 11, replacing James McLean, who didn't even make the bench. But three names there that want to pick out for the bench. Of course, George Evans, ex-Wigan player. And of course, two new faces on the bench. The returning Paul Mullin. And of course, the debuting Stephen Fletcher. Along with Jones, Clayworth, Okonkwo, the lonely Arsenal keeper. And of course, Welsh boy and former Rovers trialist, Jordan Davis. So let's go into then first the first half discussion. First half, I'll be honest with you guys, I felt like it was 50-50 at times. We had some attacks, but Wrexham had a lot more of the ball. Thing is with that half, it felt like Wrexham had more of the ball anyway, but the things with the first half, the main thing that infuriated me was we were very slow in the way we tried to press the ball forward. It felt like we weren't quick enough. And the thing is as well that made it even worse was that Wrexham gave us the space. Wrexham opened themselves up at times. We just couldn't do much in terms of quick press. We just slow press build up. And we were too sideways and passive in that first half. And I think Grant will probably admit that as well. You know, we were too passive in the first half, especially with the Wrexham side that gave us quite a lot of space. And Wrexham had one game plan in that first half, which was just pump it along and just see where it ends up. And it didn't feel like we could deal with that at times. It felt like Wrexham were coming on some decent attacks. We kept giving the ball away a number of times as well. Like I said, we were too passive. I felt like, you know, Fowl obviously had some raw talent about him. But there was times where he gave the ball away. There was times when his first touch let him down, his control let him down, his final product let him down. And for me, it just felt like, I don't know, just something about it just didn't seem right. But then the second half was a complete and utter turnaround. First of all, the goal that could have stood for Ironside, for me looking back, I mean, to be fair, first of all, at first glance, I thought it was onside. It wasn't off at all. Then on second glance, watching it back the following day, I just felt like it looked onside for me. Definitely looked onside for me. I felt we were robbed of that first goal, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse for why we lost the game. But yeah, that was definitely a moment to look out for as a moment of talking point. But yeah, first off, we were too passive, but the second half, we were just a completely different side. We quickened ourselves up, we were quicker on the ball, we were quicker on the press. And, you know, we put Wrexham in a corner in that second half. We dominated the majority of that second half. But the problem was, and the two main problems are, we cannot score our chances. We cannot take our chances. And the second thing is, we gave quite a bit of space to Wrexham for that goal. Yes, I'm not taking away the finish from Lee. It was a fantastic finish. But, and it's a huge, huge but, the marking on that was not good enough. The marking should have been a lot tighter. But I'm not going to take anything away from the finish. It was a good strike from distance, but I felt the marking could have been tighter. And they also took a bit of a deflection as well, so we can't help much of that. The goals itself, like I said, the first goal was scrappy. Forgot to mention about the first goal. The first goal in the first half was scrappy. But the second goal was a great finish, but should have been marked a little bit better. There was question marks over could Lola do more about the second goal. There was people saying, well, he could have stretched for it a bit more. I felt like that strike was still going in. For me anyway, I felt the strike was still going in. So overall, on the basis of the second half, we should have got the win. On the basis of the first half, a draw would have been a fair result. On the basis of overall, I think Wrexham deserved at least a draw, but I wouldn't be surprised. But to be honest with you, I think we deserved at least a draw. Wrexham just took that opportunity against the run of play. And what happened after that goal? We calmed down. We were trying to get something, but I felt like we weren't quick enough at times. After the second goal went in, it just felt like we were just trying our best to try and go forward, but nothing was really coming off. So, for me, Wrexham got the win. You know, obviously it was a good win for them. They stay unbeaten since the opening day. But for us, we're still bottom of the league, still without a win, but I still trust Grant McCann. I absolutely 100% trust that man. And I'm going to explain why I trust Grant McCann 100%. I trust Grant McCann 100% because the performances are there. We just need to start getting the results. And it only takes one good run of form. Look at Bristol Rovers a couple of seasons ago in League Two when they were, mid-table in January? And they boosted themselves up to third on a great run of form. It only takes one good run of form and you're right up there again. I'm not saying we're good. I mean, obviously I predicted us fourth, but I said, though, that I would be happy with anything above 18th. It's progress. And I don't think this year will be our year. Maybe in a couple of years' time, because it's going to take at least 2 years to build the squad up to where it absolutely needs to be. We've got the core of this squad. It's kind of like a 3-step plan in a way. The first year is about building that long-term core and getting that core of players in. Then the second summer, you move out whoever you need to move out and you bring in maybe 3, 4, 5 new players if need be. But between that margin, I would say 3 to 5 quality top players to add on to that long-term core and build up the strength and depth in that squad. And you may sprinkle a couple of loans on there in amongst that 3 to 5 players. You might have 1 or 2 loanees that are just quality loan players that will sprinkle that extra bit of quality. Because I'll mention this again, Grant McCann is building the foundation himself this time. He's not adding to what Ferguson already did. Darren Ferguson, that is. And I'm going to obviously, some people outside of Donny that don't know Doncaster Rovers are thinking, Sir Alex? No, Darren Ferguson. He sprinkled on the quality to Fergie's foundations last time. This time he's building the foundation himself. It's going to take a lot more time. And the board will back their man. I don't see McCann getting sacked at all. I don't know where these claims have come from, about social media over the last couple of weeks. I know, and look, I'm going to take into account right now, I know this is a results-based business. I know that. I know it's a results-based business. But in a process, you give a process time. If we finish above 18th this season, that's progress. If we finish above that the next season, it's progress. That's how I would look at it. We may be in League Two for another year or two. As long as we keep progressing every year from our finishes, I'm all right with that. And I know League Two's not the be-all and end-all, but I'm all right with it if it shows progress. If we show digression, then, give it a year or two and we show digression, then maybe we do need to look at certain things we need to adjust here and there. But I fully back Grant McCann and his staff. And the reason why I fully back him is because he's a proven manager in the Football League. He's done great with us before. He's building a good squad at the moment. It's just going to take time to gel. Don't forget we signed 12, 13 new players this summer, including those 2 or 3 loan deals. So it's going to take time for this core to work. Obviously, people say, if you get, 2 points from 10 games, 2 points from 20 games, obviously it'll be worrying. But I still trust Grant McCann. And the reason why I still trust McCann is the same reason I've just said. He's building a core. It's going to take time. This year might not be our year, but in a couple of years, adding that extra quality on top of the quality we've got, and it will be our year in a couple of years' time. It's just going to take some time. I fully back Grant McCann at this very moment, and the reason why I back him is because I know what this manager can do. I know what the performances have been as well. Don't forget the performances. I was speaking to Wrexham fans all the way out throughout that, on the way out of that game, and they were saying to me, we didn't deserve to get nothing from that. We deserved something from that. It was worst Wrexham performance of the season, according to some fans as well. Some fans told me that it's the worst we've played this season for Wrexham. So the fact that we could take Wrexham, with all the money they invested over the last couple of seasons, with the players they've got, obviously barring James McClean, who wasn't playing, look at the players they've got. They've got Mullen back, they've got Stephen Fletcher on the bench, they've got George Evans on there, they've got these quality players from top clubs, along with some of the talent they got from the National League. They've got a great squad, and the fact that we could go there and just, obviously, we were the better team in the second half, but we lost 2-1. But the fact that we could show what we can do against Wrexham, but still not get the result out of that, and for Wrexham fans to come out, and we know Wrexham fans have had a lot of stick this season from other fan bases, but I'll give them credit. The fact that Wrexham fans turned around to us, not all of them, but the ones that I spoke to turned around to us and said, you deserve something from that game. It's the worst we've played all season so far. You won't be down there this season. It's a false position. Again, that's another team that said we won't be down there. Swindon fans said that to me. Some of the MK Dons fans said in the second half we deserved at least a point. So that's what, 2.5 games plus the Everton game made that 3.5 games where we should have got something from it. Absolutely should have got something from it. We didn't. But I can see the result coming, and I think Forest Green might be that day. They've lost all their home games so far. I think Forest Green might be the day. But we'll never know until we see, won't we? But there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching this little match report review from Wrexham 2, Doncaster Rovers 1. I won't be at Forest Green this weekend. We've got some big projects coming up here in the studio, including a potential collaboration with a massive YouTuber. So stay tuned for more on that when we release more updates. But for now, guys, I'm the CHALL. Ta-ra for now.